Is your pantry prepared for a depression? Good morning. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead. And today we're going to talk about the many ways that you can stock your pantry and your freezers in case we enter a depression. I obviously cannot predict the future, but what I can tell you is the prices of food has skyrocketed. Today, I'm going to show families how they can get the most bang for their buck when it comes to saving money on food. Let's start with talking about how you can save money by freezing foods. The first suggestion is to always buy foods when they are on sale. And let's start with this. This is chicken that I bought yesterday. Yesterday was the 17th. And so as you see, it expires on the 20th. It was $10.54. They marked it down to $7.02. That's not too bad. But yesterday, they marked it down, hard to see it, to $5.26. When I came home, I did not have time to vacuum seal it. I was in a hurry. I needed to get the groceries put away. So I immediately threw it into my freezer so that it would stay preserved. Now what I can do is go back and I can stick that entire package into a sealer bag and then I can seal it properly. The next item that I always freeze is milk. And when you look at this one, it is organic. We only drink organic milk. Yes, we want the health benefits, but also organic milk lasts significantly longer than regular milk. You might get regular milk for a week or two. Organic milk will last for a month or two. You may look at the date and say, but that milk is expired. No, it's not. I bought it in about November and I put it into the freezer. And so this milk will be good through January 2024. Last week, I did an entire video on 4 different ways to preserve milk. So I highly encourage you to look at that video. I will put it in the link below. This is whole milk. I have also frozen 2% milk. I have not frozen anything else, so I can't tell you if low-fat milk can be frozen. I also freeze my cheeses. It is perfectly safe to freeze your cream cheese, and this is actually a block of mozzarella. Both of these were 99 cents. When I find something very inexpensive, I freeze it and that will help it to last longer. The last thing I'm going to show you that I freeze is crescent rolls, and these are organic. I bought those at an outlet for 25 cents each. What you do is you can freeze the entire tube. You don't need to do anything special, but when you're going to use them, you want to thaw them slowly in your refrigerator. Don't put them on the counter. They will pop open, but bring them to a higher temperature very slowly. And I was in Walmart yesterday. I could not believe the price of crescent rolls. Definitely not a quarter. I'm going to go quickly through the rest of the items that will save you money on your pantry. And we are going to start with berries. Yesterday, I found some strawberries on sale at Aldi. They looked pretty good and they smelled wonderful, so I brought them home, but I will not be eating all of them fresh. 2 things that I like to do, you can make jellies or jams, and obviously they're wonderful on bread and toast, but they are to die for on ice cream. And if you have watched my channel for any length of time, you know that I love to use fruit powders, and this is 100% fruit. I make my fruit powders by drying whole fruit that I slice up into smaller slices and I put into my dehydrator. Once it is completely crisp, I run it through my food processor and it makes crumbs. I add this powder to my cereal, oatmeal, smoothies, baking things, anything at all. Oh, and again, It's fantastic on ice cream. Ready for another little trick? Store your fresh strawberries in a canning jar in the refrigerator. They will last twice as long as when you store them in the store container. Another item that I am storing in my pantry is milk. And you can buy both shelf-stable milk in your store. I used to buy it in Dollar Tree, and some people say they can still find it in theirs. Or I like to vacuum seal dry milk and store that on the shelf as well. And after that dairy fire last week in Texas, I just think the price of dairy is going to go up. Something to stock up on, this is salt, and I have started stocking up on salt. I think it's a very good thing to keep in your pantry. And right now it's very inexpensive, but keep an eye on it. Like most things, it's going to go up. Let's quickly talk about vacuum sealing. Now, I have entire videos on how to vacuum seal, and it's in my playlist. But one of the best ways to preserve your food is to vacuum seal it. And so one of the things that I like to do, this is mac and cheese. You can vacuum seal the entire container, and this will last twice as long as what the date says on the box. Other things that I like to vacuum seal, this was 50% off Easter candy, and I will be able to get that to last at least another year by vacuum sealing it. I'm going to keep an eye out on smaller stores. I bet I can find Easter candy for 75% off. Popcorn. You will keep your popcorn far fresher by vacuum sealing it. I was able to get those bags for 50 cents a bag, and I definitely sealed it right away, and it will last much longer. And one way that I save money with cereal is I vacuum seal it by making my own mixture and stirring in least expensive cereals with more expensive cereals. That way I also save money. Something I like to store is water. So whenever I can find water in gallon containers, I purchase it. Now, I do have some water purification systems in the house, but this way I have it on hand and it's immediately available. I know it does not have a very long-term storage. I keep it in a temperature-controlled pantry. Don't store it in a place like your garage that can get very, very hot. It will go bad very quickly. Most items that we use regularly, I do the 2-for-1 deal. And what that means is I buy 2 items. 1 for eating and 1 for storage. And I do that on most items that we use a lot. And to store my dry items, I'm almost exclusively vacuum seal them. And another helpful hint, if you are storing coffee, you're going to want to buy whole bean. That's because ground coffee does not store as well as whole bean coffee. Then purchase a manual coffee grinder, and that way you can just grind out how much you need. I use this grinder for other things. I have made flour with this grinder. I can use it for nuts. There are many things that you can put through a handheld grinder. Now this coffee itself, I am going to vacuum seal it so I can be assured it lasts even longer. And talking about grinding flour, one way to make sure your flour lasts longer is to buy wheat berries, not flour. Flour is already ground and it does not have a very long shelf life. I can store it in the freezer, I can vacuum seal it, but it's only going to last a couple years at the most. Wheat berries, on the other hand, can last up to 10 years or longer. That way, same thing as coffee, you grind out what you need. I also have a very large grinder. So when I make wheat, I'm using my large one. I'm not using the small one. You would really have a workout. Let's talk about shelf-stable meats. Now, you can buy containers of tuna or chicken. You can even buy things such as beef stew. There is also Spam. And I know most of you are not going to sit down and eat a can of Spam. But if food gets so expensive that you simply cannot afford meat, you will be thankful to have Spam in your pantry. Here are 2 meats that I personally can. This one is sausage, And I love to use sausage in things such as omelets. It makes it so easy in the morning. You're making your omelet, you just open this up. That little bit of fat will come right off the top, and drain it and sprinkle it into your omelet. The other one, this is chicken, and chicken becomes very moist. You would think that it is dry in there. Make sure that when you can your meats, you are following the canning directions to the T. And talking about canning, I do a lot of canning. So over the summer, you're going to see videos on how to can just about anything that can be canned. Here are some of my favorite things to can. This is butter. Did you know you could can butter? I used to store it all in my freezer. Now I can the excess and keep it on a shelf. Vegetables. These I have raised myself. We have green beans. A lot of people know how to can green beans. And this is potatoes. You can can potatoes? And why is it so thick? That is the starch. It is fine. There's nothing wrong with these potatoes. In fact, I now prefer canned potatoes over regular ones. And so I can take a potato that may last for 2-3 months in storage, and I can can it and last 2 to 3 years. What a difference. So I can a lot of potatoes. Fruits. Last year, I was able to get apples very, very inexpensively, and I spent weeks canning apple topping. I call it topping. It's pie filling, but we like to top things with it. And it's simply apples with a little sugar, cinnamon, and nutmeg. This is probably one of our absolute favorite things to eat that I can. Another thing is I was able to get pineapple very, very inexpensively. If you have not had your own canned pineapple, you have no idea what you're missing out on. Did you know you could can juices? This is cranberry juice, and I was able to get those cranberries on clearance after Thanksgiving, and I made tons of cranberry juice. Same thing, when oranges were in bags for 50 cents because they were starting to get mushy, I bought 10 bags, and I spent a day making orange juice. This is the best orange juice we have ever had. It is so wonderful. And so if you store your juices in your pantry, they're going to last for years. Unlike orange juice, I used to be able to freeze it to extend it, but this is far better. These are 2 items from my pantry that I dehydrated. This one is onions that we raise over the summer, and then I cut them up and I put them in a dehydrator. It removes the moisture and they become shelf stable. But what are these things? This is my absolute favorite thing to dry. This is strawberry marshmallows, and these are the smash variety. I again got them very inexpensively, and I cut them in half and I dehydrated them. Then I vacuum seal them to make sure that they stay crunchy. Did you hear me right? Crunchy marshmallows? Look at that marshmallow. They are crunchy for sure. Did you hear that? But listen to this. Oh my goodness. I hate to say it, but I could sit here and eat this entire jar. They are that good. And lastly, if you want to depression-proof your pantry, plant a garden. No room for a garden? Then plant them in pots. Not this size, but big pots so that they can grow out on your porch all summer. This is a tomato plant I started, and this is a pepper plant, and both of those will give you lots of fresh produce that are basically free. And there you have it. I gave you many, many options of how you can both save money and preserve food for your pantry and freezer. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.